Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Customer Service Week. I am Erica Maroy, the Content Manager here at ICMI, and I am really excited to chat today with Sue Duris. This is our first ever, first Friday Fireside chat, and we're going to make this a monthly tradition. So we hope that you'll join us again in the future, but we are extremely honored to have Sue Duris here as our first guest today. So hi, Sue.
Hi, how are you? Happy Friday of Customer Service Week, and we just celebrated CX Day on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's been a busy.
Excuse me, it was Tuesday. CX Day was Tuesday, excuse me.
Busy week, huh?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Well, we're just really excited to have you here today, and I want to quickly say hi to all of our viewers, and if you're catching the replay, hello to you all too. But why don't we just go ahead and dive right in. So Sue, first up, can you just tell us in 60 seconds or less who you are and what you do?
Oh boy, I'm on timer. Well, like I said, my name is Sue Duris, and I'm co-founder and director of marketing and customer experience at M4 Communications. M4 is a customer experience consultancy that helps organizations build, nurture, and grow their brands. We're very passionate about helping our clients become customer obsessed. And to do that, we coach them how to be customer centric. We advise them on their digital transformation initiatives, and we collaborate with them to design omni-channel experiences that engage employees and deliver customer value.
Got it. And you also have a Twitter chat, and I know you're also involved with CX Accelerator. You want to share just a bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. So I host with my partner, Annette Franz, hashtag CX Chat. It's a Twitter chat on every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and we talk about customer experience. We talk about employee experience because our belief is that you have to have engaged employees before you can start focusing on customer experience. And I'm also one of the admins for CX Accelerator at cxaccelerator.com, I believe. And it's a Slack group for customer experience professionals, people working in customer-facing roles. It's a wonderful community. It's grown pretty fast in the past year.
Mm-hmm. And they're both awesome resources. I've checked both out, and I'm hoping to make it to more CX chats soon. So recommend it for you all too if you're tuning in. Well, thanks for the intro, Sue. Why don't we just go ahead and dive right into some of our main questions for today?
Sounds great.
So, first up, obviously, we want to talk about customer experience. So how can a company determine if their customer experience needs to be improved?
Well, there's 3 key points that I think they should definitely look at. First is the voice of employees. What are their employees telling them? Secondly is what voice of the customer. What are the customers saying? What's the customer pulse? And thirdly, looking at the metrics. And it's not just any old metrics. It's metrics that you've determined that are driving customer outcomes, because we're all in this business for really one sole purpose. We have customers, but our goal is to ensure that they achieve their business outcomes. So whatever those metrics are that they found that are driving that performance is key. So for instance, you've determined what those KPIs are. How are those metrics performing against those KPIs? And I always advise my clients that, yeah, looking at those 3 things are key, but also looking at the journey and determining a gap analysis. Where are the gaps? Where are the key moments of truth? Things of that nature. That's going to help you be able to find where to make those improvements.
Sure, that's great advice. And I'm glad you bring up the gap analysis point. I think that's actually a nice segue into the next thing that I want to cover. And, you know, a lot of people, I think they know that they need to improve their customer experience, but it's a little bit daunting to even know where to begin. So do you have any advice on what's the best thing to do first when it's time to improve the customer experience?
Okay, so I would say back to the voice of the employee, because the employee is really that first line of defense, if you were. The first line that the customer, the consumer, before they become a customer, is going to see. So really, that's the first thing, making sure that employees are engaged, and that starts with the whole onboarding, making sure that they have the right tools, that they understand what we're trying to do in our organization and how that piece fits in. So when the C-suite communicates their CX vision, the employees are going to be able to buy into that. And then when employees are communicating, interacting with customers, really get that voice of the customer. That's the next piece. And the voice of the customer is not just surveys. It's direct communication with your customer. And by the way, you should at least call one customer every day to have a conversation, to check in. How are things going? And things of that nature. Thanking them for being a customer, first off, and then finding out how things are going with them. So there's the customer contact, there's the surveys, there's online behaviors. What are they doing online, and where are those points? And the field. Sales is very important. They have that one-to-one with the customers out in the field. What are they bringing back? All these pieces are important, and it's vital, very vital, to take that customer pulse, but not stop there. What companies I see time and time again slip up on, they have the data, they have the insights, but getting the insights into the processes to improve the customer experience, there's a disconnect there.
Right. Oh yeah, we were just chatting about that this week in ICMI chat, how that disconnect continues to be an issue for so many companies.
Oh, absolutely.
So we just got a question in from a viewer, and if you don't mind, Sue, I'll go ahead and pose that one to you. So thank you, Justin, and hi. Thanks for the question. Justin says, what are your thoughts on using external indicators to decide whether or not the customer experience should be improved? For example, employees may be happy, customers may be happy, but another company is doing something to make them even happier. So how do you decide what's worth addressing versus what might just be a distraction?
Well, that's a very interesting point that Justin brings up. And actually, I wrote a post about that recently, and it's all about the social listening. And I know we'll get into social media a little bit later in what you're going to ask me, but social listening is key. And things like somebody writes something about my organization online, either in a Yelp or another community or in social, I need to be monitoring that and addressing that. So first comes listening, and really listening actively with that real intent to understand. The empathy and curiosity are two key traits that are very important. And looking at what people are coming back and saying, and adding, and if there's some insights there, you must add that to the mix. You must include that. So you got to look at what's happening internally and also what's happening externally. So Justin, kudos to you. Great question.
Absolutely. Yeah, great question. If you guys have other questions, keep them coming. Jace, hello. Jace just said hello. Glad you could join us today, Jace.
Hi, Jace.
So Sue, I want to ask you this next question because it's something that we've been hearing about quite a bit for the last few years, this concept of customer delight. So I want to get your opinion on it because it can be a kind of polarizing topic. So true or false, we should be focused on delighting our customers?
It is a polarizing question. My first comment is when you ask the question focusing, I'm going to say false, because I equate customer delight to going for the home run versus getting on base. There is an interesting stat that Accenture put out in a recent study. they say 81% of consumers want brands to get to know them, to understand when to approach them and when not to. So it's the wrong approach to go first for customer delight. The first thing that we should do is get to know them. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? What are their motivators? What are their pains? Knowing that, because as I mentioned a little bit before, the purpose is achieving those business outcomes. It doesn't make a difference, delight or not, if you're not achieving the business outcomes. So getting to know them first. And you need to always be on a path to build trust. Just this fall, I think it was last month, Forrester came out with their CX index, or annual CX index, and trust is declining. Why is that? I think we're still in this inside out approach versus outside in. We really need to align ourselves with what do the customers say are the key issues and go from that. So really building that trust, nurturing, and third, meeting and exceeding those expectations. My fear is if we focus on delight, it kind of reminds me of, you might be too young to remember this, but the long distance wars in the 90s with MCI and AT&T. Every other week I get here's a $50 check to switch, and I'm fearful that a customer, if they get a whiff that I'm just going to make these inordinate demands to see if the customer, or see if the brand is going to meet them, that's not your customer. You need to go for the loyalty. You need to go for the advocacy, and that starts with trust.
Got it. So maybe we need to focus on getting the basics right before we
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I tend to agree. We were on a chat recently talking about this, and a couple of people said that, what is a delightful experience to them is just getting the basic service needs met. So I think that's the other thing, is that people have different ideas of what it does mean to delight customers. But I tend to agree with what you said there, Sue. So it's hard to believe. I still can't believe that it's October already, but plans for 2019 are now well underway. And so I'm curious to know what customer experience trends are on your radar for the next year.
Interesting. I had some conversations with some, we call them CX futurists. They focus on emerging technology and how that aligns with customer experience. Mm-hmm. And I'm agreeing with what people are saying. I'm very excited about immersive experiences. So virtual, augmented, mixed realities, on how that can drive the experience. Typically, virtual realities, and I know it with the whole event marketing and experiential marketing crowd that you're seeing at conferences. You go into a booth, they might have the Oculus headset. You can take a look at that experience, but not stopping at the conference, actually taking that experience and basically following that consumer all through the journey, through post-purchase, through advocacy. So I'm seeing a lot of that, and I think we're going to see more of that. I'm also, because I'm an eternal optimist, I've always seemed to have been on the omni-channel train, and we're still getting there gradually. It's a slow moving train. I think retail brands, like if you look at a Sephora, if you look at a John Lewis in the UK, other brands that they really get it, but they're still in the minority. So we really need to work on omni-channel. And when we work on omni-channel, we drive digital transformation. And it's surprising to hear that over 2/3 of CEOs feel that their digital transformation initiatives are slowing, or maybe non-existent, or if they're not where they expected them to be. So getting omni-channel together on what are those channels, and making sure that it's basically one channel. We've already heard from Salesforce that they say that over 3/4 of customers want a consistent experience, and that's the way to go. And third, I believe we're going to see much more of personalization, doing deep dives. I think not the UK, but Europe is going to be a driving force with the whole GDPR. People talk about, oh, it's all these checks and balances that I have to go through GDPR, but GDPR is going to make it possible to have deep dives into personalization.
It's going to make it smarter. Yeah, no,
yes.
I'm looking at many of the same trends you are. I think what's interesting is, yes, we know that customers want and expect that omni-channel engagement, but based on recent research that we did here at ICMI, it turns out that only 16% of ICMI community members are truly delivering on that omni-channel experience, and the rest consider themselves multi-channel still. So I'm watching that trend too. I think the virtual reality piece is really interesting, particularly for retail customers.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, think about Wayfair. I love shopping on Wayfair, and you can place the furniture within your room before you purchase it. So to me, it'll be interesting to see how other industries might adopt similar practices.
What's interesting, Houzz, HOUZZ.com, has something very similar, that you can move things around. IKEA, another one. Mm-hmm. And I know that's always been helpful to me, because I go to the store and think, well, is it really going to work with what I have? And then I have to go back home and do all that stuff. But once you have that, you can play around with it. Another thing that's exciting, I noticed it with Audi, and I believe there's another, Volvo. Audi and Volvo are looking at, they're doing their immersive experiences before a product is created. So now you have customers who can co-develop, co-create what they're going to ultimately get. And that's something that the CX community has really been pushing for.
Yeah, it's cool. It's exciting, yes, for sure. Let's see. So we're going to wrap up in just a few of the lightning round, but if you're up for it, we just got another question in from a viewer. So thanks again, Justin. Sue,
hey, Justin.
Hey, Justin. He says, when you look at the amount of technical debt in the average company, it's actually, I think this is a comment instead of a question. He said, it's actually not that surprising that digital transformation initiatives get slowed down. The other much greater challenge is that executives are looking at P&L and measuring an improved customer experience is still a difficult one for the average contact center or CX manager to articulate.
That is so true. Can I do plus 1,000%? Absolutely. And what we're seeing now with CX is, okay, you have a CX transformation, but you're competing with all these other, maybe more tried and true things that brands, organizations want to do. And you look at customer experience, that customer experience is not an instant gratification thing. You're not going to implement and you're going to get in 30 days ROI. It's a longer ROI, 1 year plus at least. And that unfortunately is the bold truth. And so we need to weigh, what do brands want to do? What is their why? What do they want to do with their customers? And if they do take an outside-in customer-centric approach, they will add more customer experience into the digital transformation.
Absolutely. Yep. Thanks for that comment, Justin. So we've got just a few minutes left, and we want to end this with what we will call the lightning rounds. This is something we're going to do every month with our guests. So let me queue up these questions and my timer. So here are the rules. I'm going to go through this series of questions. We've got 90 seconds. I'm going to time it. And let's see how many of these questions you can answer, and try to just answer the first thing that comes to your mind in 1 to 2 sentences or less. So you up for the challenge?
I can do it. I can do it.
Starting my timer? Okay, let's go. So in honor of Customer Service Week, what's the best way you've seen a team celebrate?
Bring in customers so that they get to meet employees get to meet them, and go from there.
Cool.
That really works.
What's your favorite channel to use for customer service?
Oh, social media. I read my ICMI post on it.
Awesome. When you think of a great customer experience, what's the first brand that comes to mind?
Oh, I pick Apple, and I do have plenty of Steve Jobs stories because Steve Jobs personally taught me about customer experience. That will be left for another time.
Conversation for another day. What's your number one customer service pet peeve?
I'd say entitlement, and let me explain. I've seen too many brands, they want my money, but they're not willing to work for it. And so when I do ask them for things, it's like I'm asking for the moon, and that's not right. That's going to cause people to leave and go to their competitors.
Well, time's up. We got through a good amount of this. So thank you, Sue. This was fun. Let's see. We did get another comment in from Sanjay. So hi, Sanjay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hi, Sanjay.
Sanjay wants to know when the next conference is. So we have ICMI Contact Center demo next month. It's November 12th through the 14th at the Red Rock Resort in Las Vegas. If you were wondering about our next Fireside chat here on Facebook Live, that'll be the first Friday of every month. So I hope you can tune in again next time. But yeah, Sue, this was so much fun. Thank you again so much for being willing to be our first guest on our first Friday Fireside chat. It was a pleasure getting to chat with you in real life.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
All the time, so it's really nice to kind of face to face.
Thank you for inviting me, and very happy Customer Service Week to all of you guys. What you do is key. Very key. And thank you.
Hear, hear. Thank you all for tuning in. And for those of you who will be catching this on the replay, we thank you too. And happy Customer Service Week and happy Friday.
Peace, guys.
Next month. We'll see you soon.
Bye.